welcome to the prediction series for Super Smash Bros. Switch. Today we'll talk all about stages. Now quite frankly, I was a bit disappointed with the stages in Smash 4 for Wii U and 3DS. That's not to say the selection was bad, because that's far from the truth, but it felt like most of the stages were just ported over from older games. We'll talk about a solution to that later on, but first, let's get into some new stage ideas. Starting with Mario, of course there has to be some sort of Mario Odyssey stage. The most likely candidate is New Donk City, but maybe the stage will move kind of like Delfino Plaza, where it travels from place to place. It would be really neat if the Odyssey would come in and out of the stage and you had to hop in before it travels, or otherwise you'd be stranded and lose a stock. So seriously, let's get a traveling stage where you go from kingdom to kingdom to kingdom. I also think we're gonna get Bowser's Castle. Now, I can't believe we haven't seen a Bowser's Castle stage yet. I mean, just imagine how awesome that would be. I think it is due time we get that. When it comes to Donkey Kong, I think a minecart theme level would be pretty sweet. Seeing minecarts travel around in the background and maybe as obstacles to avoid would be kinda cool, as long as they aren't too obtrusive when fighting. Now, on to The Legend of Zelda. Of course, we're gonna get some sort of stage from Breath of the Wild. It's most likely gonna be the Great Plateau, but this could also be a moving stage like Delfino Plaza or even Skyloft, where we get to explore different parts of the game. And I guess while we're on a roll with obvious predictions, I'm calling Inkopolis as well from Splatoon 1 or 2. If it's not that, it'll probably be Urchin Underpass, but Inkopolis seems more likely because it's a really iconic landmark in the Splatoon series and has a lot more cool details than one of those stages. So now let's get into the more obscure picks, because it's very difficult to tell what Nintendo is going to do with stages. But to start, I'm calling a big house stage. It'll be like Luigi's Mansion, but even bigger. Next up, Green Gardens from Kirby Star Allies. This is a gorgeous looking game, and we surprisingly didn't get a stage from Kirby and the Rainbow Curse for Smash 4, so I think Nintendo's going to throw in either a level from Star Allies or maybe another level from that game. I'm also calling a level from the new Yoshi game that we still know very little about, at least at the time this video is being made. They did that for Woolly World, and I could see that happening again. Now let's step back from Nintendo for a second and think about Sonic. We have the Green Hill Zone level and the Windy Hill Zone, which are both pretty great levels, but where the heck is Chemical Plant Zone? Wouldn't this just be the most awesome stage ever? Like, it's so beautiful and it's got fantastic music, and those little blue blobby things could even be used as obstacles. Oh, it could be awesome. And while we're thinking about third parties, I'd love to see a Tetris stage. I really don't know how it would work exactly. I mean, I guess you'd be at the bottom of the screen and Tetraminos would slowly fall down. This could be either a really fun or a horrible idea. It all depends how they go about it. I mean, come on, it's Tetris. It's an icon of video games, and it definitely deserves some merit in Smash. And heck, I'd be down for another Pac-Man Maze stage too. Unfortunately, the Wii U one was horrible, and the 3DS one was kinda mediocre. I feel like if Pac-Man is in the game again and they make a new Pac-Man stage, they really should redesign it so it's more functional and just uses the aesthetics from the original game. To wrap up third-party stages, another one from Mega Man would be nice, assuming he's in the game too. Heat-Man's stage from Mega Man 2 would be a great candidate because it has a really cool look to it, and the infamous disappearing and reappearing platforms could make for a unique stage. Considering how important the 3DS is to Nintendo, I wouldn't be surprised to see an entire stage dedicated to the system where all the players fight atop a giant 3DS. My guess is the background and screen would consist of a variety of 3DS games, but maybe it would just be a kind of empty void like Final Destination. Now I have a couple Pokemon stages in mind. I'd be down for a Pokefloats 2, which would basically be Pokefloats but with new Pokemon, or something in the vein of Pokemon Snap where you go around a giant island on a stage with Pokemon flocking all around the world. Like we talked about last video, we're very likely to get some new Xenoblade characters, and with that should come a new stage. Now like I said last part, I haven't played Xenoblade 2, but I did some looking, and with some help from my dude, Chari5, we both concluded that either Elysium or the Great Creation Cloister would be good stages. They both are simply gorgeous to look at, and the game's soundtrack is begging to be put into Smash Bros. Anyway. And finally, I'm going to be predicting a really strange stage from Kid Icarus, and that's the first level from the NES game, Underground. The landscape is really dark and eerie, but it has a really neat and interesting feel to it. So those are my predictions, but of course we're going to have plenty brought back from older games. At this point, there are so many good stages that there's no way Nintendo could add all the ones that we want to see. So honestly, I'd be totally down if they brought them all out via DLC packs. I would gladly spend $5 to $10 for a Smash 64 pack or a Melee pack, and so on and so forth. And I don't even like DLC, but if they just focused on nothing but new stages to start and they brought us the older ones from DLC, that would be perfect. Now they're probably not going to do that and they'll just grab a handful from each game, so we're going to go through the stages I think they would bring back in that scenario. Now, I think we need to get into Stage Builder because holy crap, it has an interesting history with Smash. The mode was first introduced in Brawl and was really fun, but there weren't enough backdrops and they could have added a few more stage pieces. And then comes Smash 4. Oh man. While you can hand draw the stages, the stage pieces are now next to nothing. There's still not enough backdrops, and drawing stages was very limited on space. So here's what I think they should do this time around. I would just go back to Brawl's method and just give us a crap ton of stage pieces. It should be Mario Maker levels of complex, so we have tons of freedom with what we want to make. I think the option to draw should still be available, but I'll be fine if they didn't include it, honestly. And also, we need way more backdrops. Like, it would be awesome if I could just, take a picture from the Switch's photo menu and then use that as the backdrop, or even my own photos. Now, of course, using my own photos and posting those online would probably be a problem, so maybe just don't allow uploaded backdrops to be posted online. Simple as that. As for a couple other small details, it would be great if we could test the stage with multiple characters instead of just Mario, because each character has different speeds and heights and stuff, so if someone really wanted to create a fair stage that works with all characters, it'd be nice if they could test it right then and there. And we should also be able to choose where items and characters spawn, because a lot of times it's broken and sometimes items will spawn in places where you can't even reach them. And with that, we're gonna wrap up today's video. Please feel free to let me know in the comments what new stages you want and what old ones you think are gonna return. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, because next time we'll be talking about items. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.